they know that cereal has sugars, it's processed food, there's a lot of things going on. So instead of, maybe Kellogg's focusing on what if we were to try to improve the nutritional facts or the ingredients in our products. Instead, they're rebranding and kind of repackaging the same thing, the same product, maybe, in a new form. How well does that work? And I'm curious to see some of the stats of that after this project was launched.
Kellogg's. And now we come to Landor. The company Landor itself is almost 80 plus years, still strongly standing, one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And they don't compromise on layouts or all those things. They don't care about that. They just have big text.
Correct.
Lots of big text. Iconic Kellogg's design. Of course, they were losing their relevance. The brand was fading fast. Its difference eroded by competitors.
Yeah.
And so they needed a rebrand. Breaking down the logo mark. Nice.
This is an interesting premise, though, Bratin. I've
It is.
seen this. I've been through a lot of advertising classes in college, and this is an interesting premise to launch this project off of. Like, okay, consumer behavior is headed towards the fact that people want healthier food options, especially for breakfast, and they've come to learn that. Right here, like, listen closely to what I'm about to say. Like, they know that cereal has sugars, it's processed food, there's a lot of things going on. So instead of, maybe Kellogg's focusing on what if we were to try to improve the nutritional facts or the ingredients in our products. Instead, they're rebranding and kind of repackaging the same thing, the same product, maybe, in a new form. How well does that work? And I'm curious to see some of the stats of that after this project was launched.
That's a good perspective, actually, because they're talking about differentiation and the brand losing its relevance. Was it losing its relevance because of their positioning and their packaging and the communication and their branding and their design? Or was it just purely based on the fact that people don't want to have sugar in breakfast?
Correct. Was it because of the product, right?
Yeah, but for that, I think that's not Landor's thing to decide, though.
Of course.
Right? It's for Kellogg's to say that, okay, we're sticking with this product, we're sticking with this positioning strategy, what you can do for us. So they were like, okay, we'll make you an amazing looking sugary breakfast brand.
Yeah.
Again, Kellogg's, don't sue us.
Please.
But yeah.
We're just reviewing. We're critics.
Yes. It's super, again, it's I think it's only these big agencies who probably have like negotiation classes every week who can do this kinds of things. Like the logo mark, the word mark, it bleeds away.
Yeah.
It bleeds into the next fold of the packaging. Yeah. Right? But how do you sell that?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's literally half of the logo is not visible. The K is cut off, L is cut off.
That's right.
We are taught to just, shrink down the logo, have it contrasting with the background and put it in the middle. They just go opposite.
This takes a lot of just standing your ground. Like when you're in that presentation hall and, obviously, I'm telling you, like, obviously somebody said, why is it bleeding off? Can we just can you help us fit that into one frame? Because how supermarkets are. Supermarkets don't look like that. They're flat, straightforward, and you're going to see them. You could run your hand across and it's a flat surface. Like you're going to see the front, you're not going to see that corner angle. How do you sell that then? Right? How do you sell that to the clients? You have to be really firm in your position, and you can't let anybody run over you when you're presenting design, especially because you're working with business level people, right? You're working with executives that are, hard and tested, and you're working with these types of people. How do you sell your original vision without them trying to change it too much. That's something that I think they were able to sell really well. I think
Right.
Kellogg's also has the advantage that once you start just seeing that K and that signature begin, you don't need to see the final two letters to know what brand it is. And that's the level that they've reached. This wouldn't work for a small D2C brand that was just launched yesterday. So
Right.
that's also a difference.
One thing I was noticing with this specific packaging, the right side of the packaging fold is the same.
Yeah.
They just change the front
Oh,
because it's a mock-up, of course.
that's right. Okay.
Everybody cuts costs, and it's only natural.
In little moments,
With,
yeah.
yeah, with this mock-up, something that stood out really well is how they have done the dark chocolate and the milk chocolate. The cake kind of
Yeah.
bleeds over that
Yes.
the product. I would
Yes.
have loved to see more of that in other ones, but that probably wouldn't have worked because it would have
Absolutely. And
blocked the typography.
these packages are interesting because
It
Kellogg's,
is.
here's another thing which is interesting about this. Like Rice Krispies, Frosties,
Right.
Nutri-Grain, all of these are incredible brands by themselves. People know Frosties cereal. But Kellogg's is sort of that parent company that, okay, you know who owns all of this? Kellogg's. Why is the Kellogg's logo so big compared to the Frosties logo in this mock-up? And is this like actual packages that was sent out into stores and sold? And why was the reasoning behind that? Obviously it's the Kellogg's rebrand, but, which is more important for people to know? An interesting thought.
It is in Amazon, it's saying, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, look at that.
Mhm.
So Kellogg's now kind of graduates into a brand of its own that says, okay, once you see Kellogg, then you trust that, yes, this is a good quality cereal. And whatever
This is
in your interpretation could be good quality, though. But
another thing that comes to mind as an interpretation to do this, which is again the Rice Krispies, the Frosties, Cocoa Pops. These are all recognizable by themselves, and so I think this also presents a reason why the Kellogg's wordmark kind of bleeds on the side. They are looking at Kellogg's as if it's in the background. It's part
yeah,
of that background. It's part of that packaging. That's not the product. And that's why you'll see even Rice Krispies, it's the product and it's written on the product itself. Like Cocoa Pops, there is a Cocoa Pops product. The word is written on it and that mascot. And that's with everything. Unless it's just a Kellogg's thing like a milk chocolate or something or Nutri-Grain.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
They have the
I think that,
product
yeah,
on the product. That's super interesting.
it is, isn't it? And I think you captured it well. Like Kellogg's is supposed to be the background here, even though it is in the most vibrant red you've probably ever seen. It's in the background, and it's that
full
trustworthy,
display, but yeah.
right? It's that trustworthy parent that is always going to be there. That makes sense. I like this. I like that movement.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. So a lot of these mock-ups are pretty much just like product packaging based. And then now in the next image, you start to see some posters and how it could be done in other ways. And sort of like a chocolate bar, you open up and you eat the Kellogg symbol. And you're pouring the Kellogg's logo like
with
cereal.
this position.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because you really grasp this point really well. That does this positioning work for them in the future? Will it continue to work? And that's for Kellogg's to figure out and for us to see.
Yeah.
Biggest redesign in a century, pretty sure, yeah. Meaningful revolution.
Yeah.
The pack is back. Kellogg's packaging ditching the Photoshop effects to show their cereals with confidence.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Now we have some results.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're seeing the results. There you go. That's proof that it's worked. 9% increase in communicating health and natural benefits. 6% uplift in sales post redesign. 6% uplift in sales just from the redesign.
Research results show that nearly 70% of consumers were able to find packs on shelf more easily with the new designs. Of course, I
Yeah.
mean, the bright red purchase
Yeah.
intent went up by 50%. It's interesting, right?
I like seeing that analysis because, you know, we don't do that for beginner, you know, branding projects.
Hmm.
And, you know, we've looked at Pentagram, we've looked at some of the other agencies out there, but Landor has done something really different here. And they've showed the results that this has
Yep.
generated. Um, Things like purchase intent, which should be one of the key KPIs to look at. Like,
Hmm.
okay, we've done a rebrand, we've done the new brand packaging for this. Did that increase or decrease purchase intent? How did it impact that? That should be one of the main KPIs. We don't talk about that enough in branding. We talk about that a lot in the UX space and UI. But in
Right.
branding, I like that Landor has taken that initiative and shown us we can talk about data here too, and we can actually use data to our advantage to then say that yes, branding is important. Here's why. You see that proof there.
You have to think about why the consumer intent went up as well. If you look at this packaging, let's look at Kellogg's packaging previously. Yeah, if you look at this one, the Chocos one,
Yeah.
why is it doing this? Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
It looks like it's chocolate, it's milk, it's understandable, but
Yeah.
again, this doesn't communicate anything in the format of natural or health benefits or anything.
Correct.
This probably does it slightly, maybe,
Yeah. Yeah.
because there's an actual corn Photoshop, and that's what they were talking about, right? They have completely gone away with the Photoshop.
Yeah.
And as far as that intent goes, it makes sense because now it's Cocoa Pops. You have the Cocoa Pops branding in your head, and what that does.
Yeah.
Kellogg's
Yeah.
at the background, you have that product on front. That probably works. Like communicating less here actually works.
Yes. Absolutely. And when things are more clean, and with
Right.
just less going on, I think you tend to trust it more. It feels more
True.
clinically approved, if you would say.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things that they can do. Um, and another thing, you showed me the Cocoa Pups,
Mhm.
with those, like, you know, highly illustrated design. When
Right.
I go to my supermarket, when I go to Target, we have a lot of like, local ones too. There's a
Mhm.
lot of generic brands that
Mhm.
are in the same aisle as Kellogg's
Mhm.
now. Like Target
True.
can launch their own brand, Walmart can launch their own private label brand. So,
Mhm.
how do you stand out from all those private label brands that might be causing a lot of noise within that supermarket aisle? Well, you do it through the new Kellogg's package, which streamlines all the packages and which sets a tone of, like, once you see that red Kellogg's, you know that's Kellogg's. You're going to go straight to that.
It's
So,
playing on brand recall as well.
exactly. It's a psychological effect. So
Mhm.
this is not just about making the packaging prettier
Mhm.
and using prettier colors. This is a psychological play. It is very
True.
tactical, right? And we don't talk about that enough either. We like to say that, we hear from clients that,
Mhm.
okay, you're going to make it prettier. How much does this really cost? No,
Mhm.
it's more about the psychological play that this is going to help you achieve, the tactical effort, and that requires significant investment to make sure we put enough thoughts and strategy into it.
This is the important part, though, which is something you talked about. Our goal:
Yeah.
recapture Kellogg's category leadership and reclaim its sacred assets.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Kellogg's, yes, you want Kellogg's to be the category leader, but probably there's contention with the category itself. Probably it won't be the category next time.
Yeah.
People might, as we get more and more international and more countries adopt more international cuisines, I'm pretty sure you will get a paratha in an American household,
Oh
tacos and
yeah.
all that.
Oh, of course.
Pretty sure, right?
Oh, we already see that. We
People
see
will
that for
get more.
dinner. We see that
Mhm.
for dinner meals here. We do.
So
And
Kellogg's has to think
just
about that.
just within that case study, you showed me cereal. You also showed me breakfast
Mhm.
bars. People who don't have
True.
time to sit down and eat cereal, they'll just take a bar and eat it in the car or eat it on the train
Mhm.
to work. So already you're seeing like, okay, the category itself has completely changed. People don't just rely on cereal now. They'll maybe, they'll go to Starbucks instead. They'll go to Dunkin' Donuts. They'll go to
Mhm.
a local deli in the mornings.
This is so interesting that in cornflakes, previously they didn't have, they just had the cornflakes, right? But in this one,
Yeah.
they have like an actual illustration, which
Yes,
is a super flat illustration. So
that's
I
right.
don't know how I feel about that.
That's right.
But again, it grabs attention for sure.
Correct.
Kellogg's moves to responsibly sourced cornflakes. Okay,
Okay.
that's the message now.
That's good. We're seeing some
Nice.
product changes too
Hmm.
behind the scenes, which is an important. So if you're going to put this time and effort, make sure that the product is also improved and you're promising and you're delivering
Right.
on that promise. So good to see that.
Moving on to Landor's website, I think it's one of the most fascinating ones because again,
Yeah.
they don't care about anything that talks about balance or whatever. They
Yeah.
like text, they'll blow it up.
Yes.
World
That's right.
leading brand specialists, consulting, design,
Yeah.
and experience. I love their story.
Yeah.
There's
They
the
used to be
Renault.
Landor and Fitch, and now just
Yes.
Landor in their rebrand. So they simplified that too.
What's happening? It's lagging for some reason.
Yeah.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I think it's for the Milan Symphony.
Hmm.
Topo Chico, we talked about it yesterday.
That's right.
Let's just give our final thoughts.
Yes.
Wrap it up.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. We'll get back into it. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So before some technical difficulties, we were discussing Landor. We were just finishing that up. So yeah,
Right.
like we
So
talked about,
the work
really
section is
incredible
here.
work.
The work with
Mhm.
Tata, Neom.
Yeah.
Again, you'll see so much of experimentation and so much of, specialty in how they work, but at the same time, there's difference in every kind of work. They've shown their different capabilities.
That's right.
Super awesome.